After a long hiatus, it is me. I'm back. Trash Canistan the man. Today's video is sponsored to you by fucking cousin fucking because the South. I'd also just like to point out how prehistoric this meme is. This meme is like from what, 2011 maybe? Like this is old as fuck. This stereotypical. Do I need to censor this? Does this need to be censored? Well, in any sense, I mean, I know I said that this video is sponsored by cousin fucking. Actually, this meme is talking about fucking your sister, mom, and dad. I'll read it to you. It's a little fuzzy, but I'll read it. I was fucking my sister, and she says, "Wow, you fuck like dad." And I was like, "That's what mom said." Anyway, just to get us into the mindset, today I'm going to be ranting about Arkansas. Sorry, wrong flag. I mean, practically the same thing, but here's the Arkansas flag. The Arkansas state flag, one of the most boring and straightforward flags in the country. Okay, it's cool that it's straightforward because some of the state flags, Maryland, don't make any fucking sense. But you gotta say, this flag looks like a rehashing of the Confederate flag, which, considering this state's unpleasant history from the Elaine Race Massacre to the Little Rock Nine. Now, the Little Rock Nine was a very good and historical event. Desegregation of white and black schools, that's good. But the way the state of Arkansas handled it is what's bad. So bad. And the fact that the KKK headquarters is still in the state of Arkansas, the fact that there's even still a KKK headquarters, I mean, once you look at it and get down to the meat and potatoes of it, it makes sense. There's genuinely so much to talk about the state. So many negative, atrocious, disgusting things about the state. But I'll start off with a few fun facts, so to speak. I mean, they're more just like, oh, that's cool, I guess. But I'll decide to start this off on a somewhat positive note. Granted, I already made a reference to the KKK and the Confederacy. So it can only go up from here, right? Also, I'd like to point out, trying to get state flags of the state of Arkansas for this video, I cannot tell you how many of them did not download to my camera roll due to copyright issues. So I can only imagine if someone has some big history report coming up in school and they got to cover the state of Arkansas, how many issues they're going to have with it. Why? Why did it take me like 30 times to finally find a state flag of Arkansas, thank you to Britannica.com, that I could download to my camera roll and it wouldn't be corrupted or it wouldn't be all fucked up because of copyright issues? Like, what? How is that? What? How is that a copyright? Oh, whatever. Anyways, moving on. Fun fact number 1. Arkansas is the number 1 state for dog ownership, meaning this state has the most households in it that there's a dog living in it. Ironically enough, people still live like it's the 1950s, and if old Blue, their family dog who they love, 6 years old, gets a hurt leg, they just take it out in the backyard and shoot it with a shotgun. I genuinely wish I was joking about that. But even though this state is all about their dogs, they love their hunting dogs, they love dogs, oh, it's so sweet, so cute, blah, 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 which is cool. I know, no, I really do love dogs. But no, a lot of people do not take their dog to the vet out here. And if something's seriously wrong with their dog, they'll either let it run off and die out in the woods, or they will put it down themselves. Again, wish I was joking, but no, it still happens all the time. Also, this is a Boston Terrier, not a French Bulldog. Bostons are better. Bostons are adorable. Just thought I'd throw that out there. Fun fact number 2, 3 huge companies are from this state. Dillard's, Tyson, and Walmart. Dillard's is the fancy store you can find in nearly any mall in the country. Tyson Chicken, they make good chicken nuggies. And then Walmart, of course, the global superpower that has stores in literally almost every country in the world. And after Arkansas did that, they're just kind of like, I guess I'm done. I'm going to tap out now. Okay, bye. And a very important contribution that this state, one of the schools, Little Rock Central, made to this country was about the integration of black students into an all-white school. Now, it's one of the very few things that public schools in this country actually touch on whenever they talk about race and racial issues in the past. So if you didn't learn about it in history class, that's very unfortunate for you. But you should definitely go Google it and look into it. And I was also going to talk about Bill Clinton, that president that was from Arkansas. But the Clintons are very scary people, and I don't want to die. So I'm not going to talk about them at all. I've probably already said too much. Moving on, I'm going to go talk about all the shitty things about this state now, because I feel like I've given it way too much credit. Okay, moving on. To revert back to something I already touched on again in this video, Harrison, Arkansas. That city is known as the KKK capital of the world. And rumor has it there are also a lot of neo-Nazis that are in that community, which makes sense because the KKK and neo-Nazism kind of go hand in hand. Now, supposedly members of the city of Harrison and nearby communities, supposedly the average citizen, the average white citizen is friendly enough, blah, 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 this and that. Supposedly it's only one street where there's this radio station that puts out racist KKK propaganda that's out there in that city. And there are quite a few African American and Hispanic individuals that live in or very near that city. And they say they never really have any issues. However, I do have a buddy of mine, African American, who lived in Harrison as a kid. And someone went and vandalized one of the KKK monuments that are out there in that city. And there were flyers put on doors and cars everywhere in the city, essentially putting a bounty out, a $10,000 bounty out for the head of the individual that vandalized this said monument. Leave it to fucking Arkansas to have people angry and wanting the head of someone that defaced something that stands for racial inequality and racism in the country. Good job, Arkansas. Good job, Harrison. I've been there. People are weird there. I don't like that city. It just gives off a really uncomfortable vibe. I don't fuck with it. But anyways, whatever. Some people say it's not that bad. I call bullshit. Also, there's the unrecognized township, which essentially means a tiny little community of people living like 5-6 neighborhoods all together. That's considers itself a town and is recognized as a town. Well, I guess it's unrecognized. You know what? I don't know. I've never heard of an unrecognized township in my entire life. However, you see signs for it everywhere all over Arkansas on the outskirts of Fort Smith. But the, quote, unrecognized township that is Dora, Arkansas, is also nicknamed Mini Harrison. Apparently Dora is real rough, full of a lot of racist and sketchy people, and you just shouldn't, go around there at night. People have been warned that even if you're a, quote, city slicker or a yuppie, as people like to call it, if you're not a good old southern boy and you get caught in Dora, Arkansas at the wrong time of night, it's going to be a bad time, just like Harrison. So if you're ever on a road trip from any other more civilized part of the country and you happen to be unfortunate enough to go through Arkansas, just try and avoid Harrison and avoid Dora. Again, how is a tiny little community that's not even a recognized town considered to be so unpleasant and racist? I don't know, leave it to Arkansas. But if you're a member of the LGBTQ community, if you're a person of color, if you're an indigenous person, or if you're just not a southern country bumpkin piece of shit, it's just best to avoid that little area of Dora and the city of Harrison. Next fact. Cited from various different Wikipedias, which I know are not the most reliable, but also verified with multiple different health organization websites. I'm just going to rattle off a bunch of facts about Arkansas that should further paint a picture of how truly just bumfuckery this dumbass state is. So if you'll bear with me, I'm about to just rattle out a bunch of statistics. Arkansas is number 1 in teen pregnancy. Arkansas is number 2 on the most sex offenders per capita. Arkansas is number 3 for adult obesity. Arkansas is number 9 for the highest suicide rate. And there's also another alarming statistic that a lot of individuals in the state of Arkansas, whether it be due to religious beliefs or due to just being a southern country bumpkin, don't believe that mental health issues are real, or they just don't think that it's an appropriate thing. And they think suicide is such an evil, awful thing, and you should, quote, go straight to hell for committing suicide. Circa 2018, Arkansas had the number 1 highest divorce rate. Arkansas had the number 1 highest domestic disturbance, domestic abuse, domestic assault rate in the country. Arkansas is in the bottom 10 for education. Correction, even further, Arkansas is within the bottom 3 for education in the country. Arkansas is within the bottom 5 for healthcare in the country. And if you start to connect the dots, you can kind of see why all of these issues happen in this state. As I said, Arkansas is number 1 for teen pregnancy. That could also lead to all of the issues with divorce. Because out here, people think, well, you got her pregnant, you better get her married. Yeah, you better marry my daughter, you got her pregnant. There are still a lot of hypothetical, metaphorical shotgun weddings in this state. So because the teen pregnancy rate is so high, and because the education system is so poor, and because the healthcare system is so poor, kids don't know any better, kids don't think any better, and because everybody thinks you need to be good old Southern raised, and all you need to be raised by is a stern fist and the Bible, people don't know any better. So a lot of people get pregnant, get forced into marriages, are miserable, unhappy, get into arguments, get into fights, get divorced. It's funny how all those statistics kind of go nearly hand in hand together. We may beat our wives and we may hate our fucking kids, but hey, God damn it, we sure do love our dogs. We're number 1 for dog ownership. Fuck yeah there, brother. Yet one of the most interesting statistics about Arkansas, one of the more interesting things about Arkansas, natives of this state will wholeheartedly tell you it's the greatest state in the country. Statistically speaking, no, Arkansas is actually one of the bottom 5 states in the country, rated as one of the worst states to live in. It's in the top 5, literally rated on multiple different websites, the 5th worst state to raise a family. So no, Aunt Patricia, who's obsessed with the state and say, oh my goodness, it's just the greatest place to raise your family. No, it's not. No, it's not. Go read the internet or whatever. Arkansas sucks. But if you try to have this conversation logically with a native Arkansan, for the most part, they will get red in the face and they will argue until their lungs give out that it is a great place to live and great state. There was actually a poll taken about this state as well, that it is one of the most unpleasant states to live in due to the general populace, a very rude populace. So not only is it just awful statistically speaking, but there's also a lot of really rude people that live here, and there's nothing to do here. Unless you like college sports, and even then the Arkansas Razorbacks kind of suck for the past, 15 years. But unless you like college sports, and unless you're an avid outdoorsman, or if you like fucking your cousin, then yeah, sure, there's plenty to do in Arkansas. But if not, you're kind of shit out of luck. And then if you want to talk to anybody about it, people will get pissed. People get so mad at you. So if you ever thought about moving to Arkansas, because another stat that I didn't talk about is it's one of the cheapest states to live in. So a lot of people from California and Arizona who may bank out in those states will come to Arkansas to retire. It's not worth it, I promise you. If you ever thought, hey, Arkansas is dirt cheap, maybe there's a reason. Maybe there's a reason it's so fucking cheap. But I would urge you to reconsider and move to Missouri. Move to Tennessee. Those are like the more attractive pair of the triplets. And then Arkansas is the one with the hunchback and the fupa that fucking is racist. So, anyways, I think I will be cutting the video short here soon because the last couple of times I tried posting a YouTube video that was over 13 minutes long, YouTube told me it was too long of a video, even though I see plenty of brand new and other YouTube channels that have videos that are 14, 15, 20 minutes long. So I don't know. So I'm going to cut the video short here. And I just wanted to say there are several things that I did not touch on just the total tomfoolery and buttfuckery of this dumbass state. With your religious oppression, there's also an insanely high dangerous crime rate, one of the highest in the country. It starts to paint a picture. There's not a lot to write home about the state of Arkansas. The only redeemable part of this state is Northwest Arkansas, which concludes of the cities of Bentonville, Fayetteville, Rogers, and Springdale. Sure, there's a couple other little cities in that area, but those are the big 4. That is the only redeemable part of Arkansas. It's a beautiful area. The college is there, University of Arkansas Razorbacks. And people are a little more civilized and people are a little more modern up there. I discussed a lot of bad, the only good, and there's still so much more bad I could go on about for another 20 minutes, but again, YouTube is not letting me here lately. I may make another video about why Arkansas is just absolutely bonkers and should just be reworked. Scrap it and start over or something. It's bad. But anyways, I hope you liked my ranting. Yeah, don't move to Arkansas and have a good day. Because I am not financially sound and I do not know how copyright laws work, imagine that there is some amazing outro music playing at this time.